in servicemen that have gotten extensive damage or injuries while in the line of their duty. I mean, how do you address the issue of weeding out the people that are medically unfit without, I guess, overcasting your net and capturing those people who are only medically unfit as a result of?
Well, if you're medically unfit, you're medically unfit.
Agreed. But I mean, but there are
Now,
different classifications.
there's different treatment even by how long you will be able to be out ill
Right.
and be paid.
Right.
If it's job related, the period for you to be out sick and remain to being paid is a longer period.
Sure.
Now, if you do not then become fit, and you will never become fit, then it is a matter. There's a process of medically boarding persons,
Right.
and there's a formal medical board. But less people think you're being cold-blooded. There, in the Pension Act, there's an ability if you're retired because of that, for you to get a pension even though you have not served
Right.
the full time.
Okay.
And that would apprehend things like people who are hurt during the service and that sort of thing.
So, but there are people that want to serve. Like there are people that say, "Man, I want to give my time, and I damaged myself. I was 3 years out. I was 2 years. I want to finish and have an honorable discharge. I do not want to be medically discharged."
Now, if you're medically discharged, they still assess what the nature of your service was. And being sick doesn't make your service unsatisfactory.
Okay.
Now, if you're malingering,
Yeah, that is a different thing.
that's a different thing. But if you are malingering, then that's unsatisfactory service. If you're not, you serve satisfactorily. And what I found in my time is told that the pension calculations, if you serve an additional year, it makes very little difference.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you certainly reach the end, but there is provision in the Act to recognize people who are injured in the course of duty, and so should not be disadvantaged because their serving their country caused them to be in the position they are.
How many people are you looking to onboard? Or are you being advised needs to be onboarded over the next couple? Going to the jingle? I think I hear the jingle. Don't move. Wayne Monroe is my guest. Dushinga, I having a serious conversation because I know my good friend Dushinga, who is a newly recruited Hello and welcome back to Freedom March. Listen, I have to show you all this because I need you all to see it, because if I keep just telling you all about it, you all could think I just lie. And I Iceland grandson, we don't lie. So I want to let you take a look at what is happening out here on the horizon. You see, I mean, just look at it. Just look at what is out there. It is absolutely magical. Disney World has absolutely nothing on it. It is something that your mind cannot even really imagine. Your eyes have to see it in order to be able to conceptualize it. Other than that, it simply will not exist in your imagination. You cannot begin to believe. And I get it. You've driven along Western Bay Street for a long time, and you have seen the beach out at Western Bay Street for a long time. But just take a look. I mean, just look at what is out there at the Curly's Beach Resort and how it just looks like exactly where you should be. Because if you ain't here, the question I have is where you is. That is what I want to ask you. Ask yourself that question. Whisper it in your mind. Well, where is? Because you should be here. And that's the people's slogan, so I don't want to use that. My slogan is, why you ain't here? At the Curly's Beach Resort here in Bennett Harbor, Kent Island, at the old Sammy T's lot and property. All right? I'm joined live on location by the Minister of National Security, who's a friend to the Freedom March show, and, believe it or not, who has given me exponential access to the Justice League. If y'all lock me up in the Grove Station, hello, Superintendent Speeding, I want y'all to know that at some point, I shall summon the Justice League, and they shall get me out of there speedily. Praise the Lord for the Justice League. The Minister of National Security, Wade Bardo, joins me. Again, Minister, welcome back to Freedom March.
I saw Spiritual, and then he say he gone through the bush crabbing.
Yeah.
And then I see him come back out.
And he ain't come back with no crab.
And then he must be going back through the bush again. I don't
and
know.
He ain't come back. The spiritual advisor.
Now, I know what crab is about.
This spiritual advisor, I don't know. I have to wake with him. This water out here looks perfect for baptism. And I don't know. I'm probably going to get one of the Anglican priests to come and help me with this. But this isn't Jordan River, but we're just going to keep, we're going to just keep dipping the spiritual until we feel like he's been washed clean. I think that's what we're going to do with him.
Young Father Dave Thomas is out there, and he's
strapped in?
He's a strapped in fella.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You know, he can hold him under.
Yeah. And you know, I want him to hold spiritual under the water and say, let us know when you save, and see what happens. So spiritual won't be able to come back until he's saved. So we're in Bennett Harbor, Kent Island. What are you enjoying most about being up here in Bennett Harbor?
Well, I just reach, but when I reach and I see you, I know I was in high corporate. So I literally just dropped my bag.
Okay.
I saw you said so. It's coming in. Went to the excellent bar and restaurant to just catch a little nibble.
Sure.
Not too big a meal.
Sure.
Because they have a full menu now.
Yeah.
They have two-sided menu.
Yeah, that's a big menu.
So I just stepped in to catch a little small thing, since I know that, dinner is a little later.
Yeah. But
the one thing I could tell you, though, my one complaint is this.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, the self-service are there okay,
Yeah, it ain't too bad.
I know smartphones are the devil. Because at least if you could say, the reception was good.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you. You'll have an excuse not to wake.
I got to teach you this little trick, spiritual minister. I teach you this. Whenever people start to run on my phone with things I don't want to talk about no more, I just put the phone on airplane mode. That don't even let them know the phone hang up. The phone is just cut off, right? No. And then they can try to call back 2 times, and they ain't gonna get through because the phone in airplane mode. They go automatically. The one thing I like about human beings, I learned this in psychology, in the absence of information, human beings will create information. That's where speculation comes from.
That's a fact.
So,
and even with information, they speculate.
So you don't say nothing to them. You just switch the phone to airplane mode quickly, and they can say, "Man, them tower down in Kent Island so bad. Wow, boy, I can't wait till he come back to Nassau." And now, when they ask you, say, the cell phone was bad down in Kent Island, you say, boy, you know how it is. And you have never one time told a mistruth. The people them tell their own self a mistruth, and you get away scot-free.
No. As a lawyer, I could tell you could lie by omission.
Yeah, well, I like speculation.
No, you could lie by omission. That's what the F&M do all the time.
Oh, boy.
Well, you know I can let you slip past. politics easy like that. They lie by omission. So I don't lie by omission. So
Well,
I got to try to be honest all the time.
I'm very excited. I've named their tour. Have you heard about the tour they're having? I've named it. I've called it Tour de Public Bathroom a la FNM, where everybody who aspires to be a candidate is going around looking for a public bathroom to go mop up, and I can't figure out.
I can tell you.
Why they doing this
I can
foolishness?
tell you who shouldn't go look for a public bathroom.
Tell me.
The deputy leader.
Oh boy. He looks very good and capable at mopping up a bathroom. Why shouldn't he?
But he wouldn't go look, because when he look, he'd say, that's just how I leave it.
Oh boy. Well, I hear the same thing about Michael Foulkes. I hear they say the bathroom did look just. A matter of fact, they say Michael Foulkes complained about the door being locked, but when he leave the door open, that was all he did, leave the door open. Ah boy, the silliness that I have to endure.
Well, put it this way. What I would like to say is, if that is the highest thing you have to complain about,
Right.
then that is saying something.
Yeah.
You see, there's a concept, and it's going to be my mantra now going into 2026. You can deceive people by context.
Right.
You can always find something to complain about.
Naturally.
And so the joke I have with DPM, and I know I can have the joke here in Cat Island. If they have 60-mile road in Cat Island, and the Prime Minister managed to pave 59 miles,
Yeah, they can talk about this.
59
I told
and
Spiritual
a
Advisor the
half
same thing
miles,
today. I told the Spiritual Advisor the same thing
they
today.
can come and they can do a camera at that half a mile
Yeah.
and walk up and down, dusting up their
Yeah,
shoes,
and
say, see?
The road
See?
need to be fixed. The road need to be fixed now. No, I told Spiritual Advisor, I said, on islands, because I've been trying to convert the Spiritual Advisor, right? And what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to explain to him that family island development is such a peculiar thing. In that, first of all, you don't have the luxuries that Nassau constituencies have, right? Like Freetown might have a problem that borders on Nassau Village, and by virtue of Nassau Village fixing his problem, Freetown benefits from it. Like if South Beach has a problem with roads, and South Beach fixes its road along the corridor of Zion Boulevard like it has done, the member of parliament for Bamboo Town could also come out and say, you see, the road them smooth, right? When you have a family island, you don't have that luxury. You are a standalone member of parliament. So that's thing number one. Thing number two is, and I intentionally took the Spiritual Advisor those all the way to Devil's Point, because for about 13 miles of that drive, it was me, Jesus, and Spiritual Advisor in the car. It wasn't nobody else out there. This just road. And I say to him, Spiritual Advisor, what if the government said, we ain't running no lamp pole from Pass Me Not to Port Howe roundabout? All these people that live in Port Howe wouldn't have light. But we've got to figure out a way to get light to them. So we got to run 13 miles of wire and lamp pole until we get to the people in Port Howe. And if one person knock down one of these, now we got people in Port Howe out who have perfectly good lamp poles, perfectly good wire, but someone along the 13 miles of barren land just knocked down a lamp pole. And so as a member of parliament on family islands, particularly the ones like Kid Island that are 60 plus miles long, and Eleuthera that is almost 100 miles long, it becomes a very delicate balance because the population size is there, right?
But let me stop you, Levan. That's the wrong approach and context to it, and that creates some of the problems. The Prime Minister has naught to do with the Arthurstown police station.
Sure.
That's within my remit.
Sure.
When you come to see where the police budget is going, it's not just what's happening for Cat Island, it's a national perspective.
National perspective, right.
When you look at, for instance, paving, that's a national perspective.
Sure.
And you're not going to be able to do everything. So
Sure.
you're going to set some priorities.
Right.
So the Member of Parliament can't pave himself.
Correct.
But a government could decide a policy. So I was happy when I was driving here and to Arthurstown and thing to see, and in Exuma, and now in Eleuthera, to see that the government, which is generally Nassau-centric, has decided that it's going to have some priorities into the family islands. And so we're talking about developing opportunity island by island.
Right.
And so, and I say this with all sincerity, because you see all these roads in the family islands getting paved, that ain't money that could be spent in Nassau.
Right.
Right? So just like you talk about Byron Stretch and the rest of it, it's a matter of priority. And for the first time in a very long time, if ever, you have seen unprecedented attention to the Family Islands.
Right.
And maybe the Prime Minister from the Family Islands, the Deputy Prime Minister from the Family Islands, the Minister works from the Family Islands. I from the Family Islands.
Yeah.
So you may begin to have people who have other outlooks to say the Bahamas isn't just New Providence and Grand Bahama.
Mm-hmm.
And so you cannot put it on the Member of Parliament, because the Member of Parliament, this may not be their portfolio.
Sure.
They could harass me. You know how much the Prime Minister harassed me for policemen in Cat Island.
Mm-hmm.
And the Minister works for policemen in Eleuthera.
Mm-hmm.
And the Deputy Prime Minister for Police in Exuma.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in my portfolio to see about recruitment, training, retention.
Right.
So the most that they can do is make representation. But insofar as judgments within portfolios, it arrives like that. Now, I'm told that some people it's a little different. If you go to Abaco, you know when you reach North Abaco.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The rest of Abaco,
Yeah.
you know when you reach
Yeah.
Abaco.
As soon as the wheel hit, the car is saying, well, let me not have a go.
And that's, to my mind, there's something wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
So you look nationally. So when people try to go to these things and have national perspective and pick on the MP, they're trying to do something that I say acute that the FNM does. You have a list of 100 things. You pick on the 5 the fella ain't do. And he may have nothing to do with it being done or not. It's totally out of context with what else the person who does that portfolio has done in the rest of the area that that portfolio touches. And so that is their mission now. So that's why they go in around the bathrooms on parks.
Yeah.
Mind you, they won't go around to the parks and see which have been renovated. They wouldn't go and see beaches and parks have given contracts to people to clean the verges and the parks and see that the park is well kept. So the bathroom may look like something, but the park is well kept. That's two things.
Two different contracts. Right.
So, but you could do that, and the good thing about it is they could say they telling the truth.
But I must
for that half a mile of road in Cat Island, they'll be telling you the truth.
But I must say this, right? Because I keep telling people that nothing exists in a silo, right? And I always also tell people that while you want a government that is forward-thinking and that is proactive, right? You also want a government that is aware. That's first of all. And secondly, in the instances where the government isn't aware, that the government is responsive, right? Because let's just say, case in point, as the Minister of National Security, I'm not. It wouldn't surprise me if you sat here and said to me that there is a criminal element or criminal enterprise that you simply are unaware of. And I believe that your commissioner gives you the best intel that she has. I believe that your commander of the Defense Force gives you the best intel that he has. We know that they have committed entire sections to intelligence gathering. The point I'm making to you is that human activity happens continuously, and that continuous activity triggers reactions and responses. The point I'm making to you is I look at what's happening now in South Beach, where Tour de Bathroom Public a la FNM began, with a man that I have great revere for, former Commander Darren Enfield, who is the candidate for South Beach down now. And I'm very happy that he pointed out that the bathroom was in disarray. I will tell you what makes me happier. That almost immediately, upon learning about this situation, the Member of Parliament responds. The Member of Parliament responds not just in writing to make you aware that he is aware. Then all of a sudden I see the beaches and parks team show up. And I see that the infrastructural upgrades begin. And people say, oh, well, why someone had to tell them? You know what I say? I say this in my private life, right? Whenever my PSR fans ask me, well, why I have to ask you? Because, my dear, you have to ask Jesus. Jesus say, anything you ask of me or ask of my Father in my name, I will give it to you. You ain't trying to make me better than Jesus say. That's the point I'm making. Sometimes you just simply need to ask.
Well, I'll tell you this, because as I said, the Commissioner of Police and I are barking a tour of some of the Out Island stations,
Mm-hmm.
you could point out every Out Island station, every station in New Providence that needs renovating, and I can tell you that it's going to have to be a matter of priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Because while you fix the stations, you have to keep the license on your CCTV cameras current.
Mm-hmm.
You have to every so often buy ammunition because the police have to practice.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, in the Defense Force now, we're trying to get the full fleet back to sea.
Mm-hmm.
But even when the full fleet is back to sea, you have to pay a lot of money in maintenance. So all of this stuff you were given a budget,
Sure.
and you have to do it within that budget.
Within the budget.
And you know, sometimes you just got to be very blunt with people. I'll give you an example with my constituency allowance. Back after COVID, when they went back to school in person, the principal at Uriah McPhee said, "Look, man, we have the worst attendance. Let's do this breakfast once a week." I said, "No, I can't do 100 breakfasts once a week because you have 500 students."
Right.
So we settled on 3 times a week for everybody.
Right.
Because you know, if you only give some people the children,
Right.
you
Right.
have
You
to
create
make
a different issue.
they can make fun of them. And that consumed, up to this point of this school year, the majority of my constituency allowance.
Right.
And so, yes, now if you asked me for dumpsters, which I did, I could do some of that. I did some of the purchasing, building materials for people to fix their roof. I could do some of that. But my priority was that.
Right.
So that consumed that amount of my budget. And then the balance of my budget I could use for those other things. But yes, sometimes you have to wait for a dumpster because you wait for the
Because
budget.
I need to wait on the budget.
to
What about
refill.
those people that says that members of parliaments have to do this thing where they do more partnering with the civil society, etc.? Do you believe that as a member of parliament elected with a budget of sorts, I hear some members of parliament brag that, man, I had to go in my community and I had to do what I had to do. I had to go and call the friends I have. What do you say to those people who says, well, you ought not be graded as a good member of parliament, no matter what your contributions to the House of Assembly are, no matter what your attentiveness is in the community, no matter what your responsiveness is in the community, you aren't doing more because you're simply not partnering with the right set of people in order to make more things happen in your community. What do you say to those people?
Well, that's a judgment as well, because you're there to find solutions. And
Sure.
yes, you will find some people to partner with. I have to schedule a meeting with somebody who wants to assist me with the park right behind their business place.
Yeah, but that's a
to see how we can
slippery
work
slope,
that out.
Minister, because my Grammy tell me, say, right hand make for washing, left hand. That's what my Grammy tell me. I don't know what your Grammy tell you.
Well, I'm from Ragged Island, so if you give me something and you want something in return, you better ask for it before you give it to me. And you better get me to say, yes, I will give it to you in return.
Yeah, but I'm saying sometimes you have to shun the very appearance of evil. I am not doing this thing with these people because I don't even want it to appear like I am beholding or that I owe someone some sort of a favor. Sometimes you just have to, just out of an abundance of caution, shun the appearance of evil.
If you are giving Wayne Monroe something, that's one thing.
Sure.
If you decide that Wayne Monroe is putting on something for the community and you decide to contribute, you've contributed, my brother. And literally, and this has always been my position, if you now come back for a quid pro quo, the essence of quid pro quo is it's at the time.
Yeah.
Because I have to determine what the value is.
Yeah, so you missed the window.
No, and if you put that forward, I would say, no, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
But if you say you want to be charitable to help the Freetown constituency, I will take you at your word. When you come to now try to make a demand, I will remind you I took you at your word. Now, if you could go get the food back out of the people's belly, go on, my brother.
Well, you could get it back.
But what you can get it back at.
I'm sure you could want it. Boys. Okay, so I've got the Minister of National Security here. If you're just tuning in or joining us, I don't know where y'all been. Y'all must be under a rock. I out here, this Curly's breeze almost putting me to sleep. I don't know how the minister doing it. He's a man at least 20 years older than me. I would have been sleeping if I was his age in this breeze. All right? I want to commend him for that right out of the gate.
You don't know all the people asleep less than the younger people.
Man, but you feel this breeze? This breeze is fantastic. But Minister, I have you here. People like hard questions. I've got to ask you hard questions. The news today and yesterday has some challenges coming from your ministry. With all of the progress that you have made, the National Youth Program, the National Youth Development Program, I think that's the correct name for it. And then let me
National Youth Guard.
National Youth Guard. Let me send a special shout out to two young, bright, senior enlisted. Well, I don't know if you can say young and senior enlisted in the same sentence. We still feel young though, but 23 years ago we were young boys, so we can't still be young 23 years later.
Compared to me, you're young.
Okay, so relatively young.
Yes.
I like that. So two of the young, relatively young senior enlisted, of course, Mr. Michael Ring, Chief Petty Officer, and Mr. Kelsey Missick, Chief Petty Officer, who have been spearheading that program. I think that they're doing a phenomenal job. We see that the Rangers has been something that has grown exponentially over the last couple of years. It's into all the family islands now, etc., etc. And what we are doing is we're trying to reshape the culture, which is something that I completely agree with, because a lot of times we create policy and we do not consider how will we alter the culture, because you cannot have policy that doesn't consider the culture. And so sure, we've had windows or gaps where we've allowed the young people among us to slip through and get into idle spaces where people with nefarious intention can visit upon them and get them to inflict tyranny and chaos on their societies. But the National Youth Guard is changing that, right? Rangers is changing that. But wherever human beings exist, there will be falters. How are you addressing those falters? How is your commander addressing the falters? And what could the Bahamian population look forward to seeing in instances like these?
I'll start on this regard. Sin is something, eh? You had Adam, who actually talked to God directly in the presence of God directly, and he managed to find time to sin, right? So in organizations like the police force, like the defense force, like corrections, you do your best in screening people.
Right.
And we've elevated the screening. Now they go through psychometric testing before they are recruited.
Right.
So you do your best to screen out bad apples at the training stage. As you go along, what you will then find is you will have one or two people who may falter. And the measure of the organization isn't perfection, because you will not find perfection on this side of heaven.
Right, and because I've already resigned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not...
It's the best I got.
You see, that fellas like you was wearing these nice color pants.
No, but I was high speed, low drive.
You're eccentric. That's what we call it. You'll have an air about yourself. Anyone you see wearing this teal pants or what's the salmon pants, they high-minded.
I was high speed.
They high-minded.
Oh boy.
But the measure of an organization is how you react to when somebody falters.
Sure.
So you have a choice as to what you do. And you will find that that's aggressively dealt with in the police force and the defense force. This thing with the Ranger situation is they hold the fella for 8 days. Because they could have hold him for 8 days.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right.
But Commodore Moxie called me up and, you could be held for 8 days.
Yeah.
They clean up their brig.
Yeah.
You can now go to jail on the defense force base.
Right.
So it's how you react to what happens. And you have a choice to confront it. And that is what they've done. There are 2 instances involving it. You confront it by one, this is a criminal matter.
You deal with the criminality.
To the police you go. But as a discipline organization, you also have to have an inquiry to find out, how did this happen? Was this a command failure? Was this a system design failure? Whichever one we find it is, we have to address it, and they'll have a formal inquiry to look into that, because it's fine. This offender may be gone,
right?
And I don't prejudge the matter now.
Right.
But if the person is found to have offended, this offender is gone, but human nature is still there. So you have to continue to try. I describe it as building a better mousetrap.
You've got to close the policy gap. So wherever policy gaps exist, things can fall through them.
You have to continually build a better mousetrap.
Yeah.
As you build it, the mice will continue to work to try and find a way out of it. So you have to continue to try to build a better mousetrap.
So we're at the Curlews Beach Resort here in picturesque Bennett Harbor. The minister said something I don't want him to speed by, that he said they've cleaned up the brig. Clifford Scavala must be home clapping his feet, because I knew he always used to say when I served, I am going to put you in jail, you are going to go to jail. And so finally, it looks like there might actually be some people going to jail. The one thing I always like about military commanders, I don't know if you know this, but they all carry swords. And so I trust that once the inquiries are done, I trust once the decisions are made, once the evidence is laid, and once there is conclusive evidence, the commander will swing his sword. And if heads come off, then that is the purpose of the commander's sword. And I think the public will be very happy about knowing that. And I think they can rely on the Royal Bahamas Defence Force to be as transparent as possible with that. Anyhow, Minister, I think we're out of time. I think that's the jingle idea. Thank you so much for joining me here on Freedom March. Any closing recommendations for this wonderful view as we go?
Closing recommendation is get out and enjoy your country.
Yeah.
And then you can go in the bush.
Yeah. Don't go in the bush. Spirits advise a guy in the bush. So
I know, but
look for crab.
you can go in the bush and experience things you could